Hi everyone, welcome to Missoula Live. Joel Baird couldn't be here for the show today. He was in Portland, just getting back, so I'm filling in for him. I'm Josh Menny, and I usually host Wake Up Missoula, and Wake Up Missoula is our morning show here at MCAT. But I just want to start off the show by talking a little bit about what's going on at MCAT. So we have our Do It in 72 screening, which is coming up on the screening is going to be on October 25th. There is 25 submissions. The grand prize will be $500.
That was a great turnout for that contest. I was impressed.
Yeah, and I'm here with Kim Anderson. So Kim,
Hey, hi. You're doing double duty today because you had the morning show this morning,
I
right?
actually don't do the morning show on Mondays because of
okay.
my other job. I work all weekend, like 20 hours, so I take Mondays off. Plus, City Council isn't on Mondays, so
That's
it's
right.
on Mondays, but we don't have it ready for the show, obviously.
Right.
So.
Well, yes, I'm Kim Anderson, Associate Director of Humanities Montana, which is a statewide organization that supports and produces humanities programming around the state. There's our website. We give grants. We have a speakers bureau. And I did want to mention that we have a grant deadline coming up for any of you that are out there statewide and thinking of a project that involves history, literature, philosophy, jurisprudence, environmental studies, any of the general humanities categories. Our regular grant deadline is coming up. It's November 20th. And the guidelines and the application are all on our website. And if you have any questions, you can call Humanities Montana or send an email and ask for me, and I can help you. And as Josh said, we had a great turnout for the Do It in 72 contest. And the showing, which will be a lot of fun, and they'll announce the winners and all of that, is at the Roxy Theater, is that correct?
Yes.
The Roxy Theater on October 25th at 7 p.m. There it is again. And I also sit on the board of Missoula Community Access Theater, which is why I get to share this couch usually with Joel and today with Josh. So we have some wonderful guests with us today, and first off, we're pleased to introduce Kathleen Stone and Peter Donaldson from Diverse U. Am I saying the title correctly?
Diverse U, that's right. Yeah, so I'm excited to get to be in my fourth year with Diverse U, formerly Day of Dialogue. It is the largest diversity symposium at the University of Montana. A one-day series of events devoted to promoting understanding around different topics of diversity through civil discourse.
And this goes on once a year. You have a one big day of activities, is it?
Exactly, yep. Once annually. This is our 9th annual event. Wow. So we're excited to be bringing a great series of topics again this year to the University of Montana and to the community of Missoula here. Everyone is welcome to attend.
So tell us when it is and describe a little bit about how the annual event came into being and what the purpose is.
You bet. So again, 9 years ago it was sponsored and continues to be sponsored by Dr. Theresa Branch, the Vice President of Student Affairs, really with the idea of moving away from the idea that we don't want to engage in topics that are difficult, that we shouldn't avoid conversation with people who are different from ourselves, that we should be equipped with the tools to really engage in civil, constructive discourse so that we can come to understand each other better and create a stronger sense of community.
Well, yeah, because I mean, how else do you get to know people? I think we've been seeing that going on culturally. With marriage equality, for instance, we've seen that as people get to know each other better, all these barriers fall away.
It shifts the conversation
Yeah.
and shifts the reality. So, yeah, it's an exciting event. It does take place on November 5th this year. So
Okay.
that's the main event, and there will be sessions throughout the day. Kathleen can give a little bit of information about some of the related events that happen around Diverse Youth.
Oh, tell us about that.
Sure. So besides all the events going on throughout the day, we've got 3 really big related events that we're kind of specifically pushing, really excited about. On Monday, November 3rd, our big related event is Kamau Bell, who's a comedian from San Francisco. He's gotten a lot of attention lately because he's been talking mostly about racism in our culture, and his presentation is going to be called "How to End Racism in about an hour." So it should be pretty impressive if he can follow
that
through.
easy.
Yeah, easy enough. And but yeah, we're really looking forward to him. He'll be in the UC ballroom at 7 p.m. and it should be really great. We're hoping students from the community and anyone's invited. Another thing that's coming up is after our sessions on November 5th, that Wednesday, we're going to have a UC gallery opening in the UC as well, and it's going to be called Speaking Volumes, Transforming Hate. And the idea is that they've taken all this Nazi propaganda, which included their guidebooks and anything really, and they've turned it into art. So it's kind of a controversial piece, but we're really looking forward to it. And then later that evening, tying into the gallery opening, is a presentation from the Holocaust Memorial Museum out in DC. So the museum is flying out and it's going to give a presentation on, they're calling it Do Words Kill? Hate Speech, Propaganda, and Incitement to Genocide. And what they're going to be discussing basically is the idea of freedom of speech versus hate speech, and how we can balance the two so that we're all still having an open discussion but not damaging anybody. And that's going to be at 7 p.m. that Wednesday, the November 5th, in the UC Theater.
Wow.
So, yeah, lots going on.
Wow, so the museum is coming out, so the staff from the
Yeah,
They
museum?
are
two
sending
people.
2 speakers from the museum to come and be with us, and
That's
really
impressive.
excited
Yeah,
about that.
Yeah.
And then after their lecture, we're going to have a moderated conversation with the audience, and the moderator is going to be our new Dean of Journalism, who just joined University of Montana.
Oh, Larry Abramson,
Yeah, Larry
yes.
Abramson. Mhm.
Terrific.
Yeah, so that should be really exciting. So.
Well, so it sounds like a really full week of things going on. And I don't know if you ever saw it, Josh, but I remember that Speaking Volumes exhibit when it was going around the state. I think we actually even funded part of it as it was going around. And it's a really powerful exhibit where artists were asked to respond to this literature of hate that somebody donated, I believe, to the ACLU or something. And so how artists chose to de-power
Exactly.
that literature and turn it into something transformative.
And empower conversation because of it.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
So where in the UC are the November 5th events?
Just about
Going on.
everywhere. We're going to have in the downstairs area a bunch of exhibits, so that's community organizations, clubs on campus, and some actual artistic exhibits going on downstairs. And then upstairs in all the rooms, we're going to be having individual sessions that are anywhere, or they're 50 minutes or 80 minutes long, and they're going to be from about, I think, 12 different speakers. And then the related events are either in the UC Theater or the ballroom. So.
Okay, so
Yeah.
3rd floor
Yeah.
primarily.
Exactly.
Do you have a website where people can get information on
We
this?
do, yeah.
Thanks.
Sure. Got it memorized, definitely. It's umt.edu/diverseu, which is just diverseu, and it's one word. So.
Okay, and there we have
Yeah,
it. Good.
there
And
it
so
is.
the full schedule of events with more detail we can probably
Absolutely.
see right there.
All events are free and open to the public, and everyone's invited.
This is great. And I guess we should emphasize it's not just for students, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. We have faculty from all over campus who come, community members who show up. High school students have even started coming
Oh, yeah.
as an opportunity to start engaging in the discourse.
Well, what a great event.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you so much for putting it on, doing all the work. It sounds like you've got a really exciting lineup, and I'll be over there for sure. So
Great.
good
Looking
luck.
forward to it.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right, well, we will go away for a little PSA, and we will have some more guests when we return.
Are you going to be able to vote on Election Day? I know I'm not, but that's why we have absentee voting. There are a couple of different ways to register absentee. The first is to pick up an application, or you can download one online. If you download an application, be sure to sign it and then email or fax the application back to the elections office. After the close of registration, be sure to visit us at the Missoula County Fairgrounds to receive your absentee ballot. You can now track your absentee ballot online. Check out MissoulaVotes.com after you send in your absentee ballot to track it. If you're a college student or you're going to be out of town during the election, put an alternative address on your absentee registration and we'll send you your ballot to that address. Don't let life get in the way of voting. Vote absentee today.
All right, we're back and we're here with Dean Peterson. He's the conductor of
Missoula Symphony Chorale, and he's going to be talking about the event that's going on this weekend, October 26th, Sunday at 3 p.m. It's called 4 Seasons of Choral Music. Dean, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me today.
So this is a special treat. We're getting to have an entire concert focused on the chorale
Yes.
and choral music, which we just don't get to hear enough of in Missoula.
That's true. There
Tell
are
us
a lot
about
of
the
choirs,
event.
but well, yeah, it is. It's we normally sing with the orchestra, but once a year we do we call it our standalone concert, where we step out and do music that we normally wouldn't be performing with an orchestra. Quite often it's a cappella without accompaniment, or other times it's with maybe a small amount of accompaniment or piano, and it gives us an opportunity to do a wider range of music also. So it's really it's a fun thing. And this year we chose to do 4 seasons, not Vivaldi's 4 seasons, but 4 seasons of choral music. So the program will be divided up seasonally. Of course, we'll start with the fall and then on to
that's
winter,
nice.
spring, and summer.
So what piece is representing fall?
Oh, that's a good
repertoire?
question. Well, I'm sure you've heard Autumn Leaves. Those
Yeah.
autumn leaves flow by my window. We'll have that. And interestingly enough, I was really saddened last year when Pete Seeger passed away. And I was thinking, how could I find something by Pete Seeger to put on a concert? Well, it so happens that he wrote To Everything There Is a Season, Turn, Turn, Turn.
Of course.
And I found a really nice arrangement of Pete Seeger's piece. So in a way, we'll honor Pete Seeger in this concert by opening the concert with To Everything There Is a Season.
That's perfect.
And then Autumn Leaves, we're doing a piece, it's a traditional American hymn, a beautiful arrangement. It was originally arranged for the Dale Worland Singers out in Minnesota. It's called Shall We Gather by the River, or The Beautiful River. And it's a really beautiful arrangement of that, for the Thanksgiving thing. And one more thing for fall, we had to think of Halloween, so we're doing the American spiritual Dem Bones.
Dem Bones is
Yes.
perfect.
So that's that's what we'll be doing with the fall.
Well, it sounds like even in that one season that there's a great mix of kind of gospel and folk and as well as contemporary
Yes.
music and I'm assuming there'll be some classical pieces
Yes.
in there. And
It's a
that's
very
what's so
yeah, it's a
great.
very diverse program, and so often in choral music we do foreign texts. Lots of Latin, English is often kind of set to the side. This concert, though, I think people will appreciate because the whole concert is in English. There is nothing in a foreign language, so very accessible. I think this is one of the concerts where there's really something for everybody.
Nice. How many members of the chorale?
Chorale is large this year. We are running at about 97
Wow.
singers, auditioned singers,
Yeah.
and ranging in age from 18 to 89.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Still making music.
Very lively group, very vivacious, and I think people are really in for a treat when we take the stage on Sunday afternoon.
Well, give us the details. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention if they've been putting the site up. There we go.
Yeah.
Good job. So if people can't remember what we're talking about right now, they should go to this website and
Yes.
all of the information
Missoula
is there.
Symphony, MissoulaSymphony.org.
Okay,
We'll give
great.
them information, or they can call the Symphony office, 721-3194.
All right.
Tickets are available at the Symphony office at 320 East Main, across the street from the public library, and tickets will be available also at the Denison Theater. So there's many opportunities. You can also purchase tickets online at the MissoulaSymphony.org.
Oh, so you can buy them online and then either pick them up at the office
Right,
or
we'll call,
at will
or
call.
can pick them up at the
Yeah.
office. Lots of opportunities. We always encourage people to pick up tickets in advance. You never know when we might sell out. We would love to sell out the chorale concert. It's a little different, and people aren't used to it being part of the usual season.
Right.
So we really encourage people to come out and support us and have a wonderful, enjoyable afternoon of choral music.
And just to be clear, if you're seasoned symphony ticket holders like I am, this is a special,
This
different
is a
concert.
special concert. Yes, this is above and beyond.
So don't just
the
sit back
usual-
and think it's in your envelope with all your other
Right,
tickets.
right. It is.
You need to get these separately.
Yes, it is separate.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful concert, and again, it takes place on Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock in the Denison Theater.
It'll be wonderful.
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Missoula Symphony Chorale. So,
Yes.
as a person who doesn't know a lot about this stuff, is the symphony going to be with the chorus?
No, this
Okay.
is just the chorus this time. The symphony is comprised of both the orchestra, which is all of the instruments, and then separately is the chorale. And 2 or 3 times a year we perform together. But this is our one opportunity as the chorale to just perform on our own without the orchestra.
Okay.
We will have a few folks from the orchestra with us though as backing and as soloists. Maggie Schuberg, wonderful flutist, is going to be playing.
nice.
Don Douglas on cello, and we'll also have a really up and coming, wonderful young soprano soloist with us doing Gershwin's "Summertime." Her name is Caitlin Sisler. So there's a lot of special guests, solos, instruments. Good variety.
It sounds like a great concert. And there's just nothing like the sound of 100 voices
Yes.
in harmony together. It's just one of the most thrilling sounds imaginable. Well, thank you, Dean. It sounds like it's going to be a wonderful concert.
Thank you.
And we'll be there. We look forward to it. I hope everyone goes out and gets their ticket. Go to the symphony office and get your tickets early. That's the easiest way.
It really
There's
is.
plenty of parking, and then you're guaranteed.
And as performers, we sure appreciate it when they buy them in advance.
It's nice to know, yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, we will return in just a brief moment with another guest.
Good news, the bicyclist is wearing a helmet and bright-colored clothing. The bicyclist is wobbling and swerving, even though he's in the bike lane. Did you see it? The bike rider has made a dangerous and illegal turn. First, he made no effort to see if a car was coming from behind him in the traffic lane. Second, he failed to yield to the car which was in the traffic lane. Third, he should have merged left to the traffic lane and made his left turn from there. Fourth, he did all of this without signaling. Finally, he turned to the wrong side of the street. You can see him going right next to the curb, opposite the direction of any cars which might be coming. He should always be riding in the same direction as traffic. It would be much better and safer if he had first looked, then signaled his intention to merge left, then moved left into the traffic lane and made a proper left turn. If he had done this, the driver would slow down and let the bike flow into the traffic lane.
All right, we're back with Theresa Cox, the executive director of Carousel for Missoula, and Theresa is going to be talking about Haunted Hollow. This is a Dragon's Hollow, correct?
Dragon Hollow, yes.
Dragon Hollow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, around Halloween, all sorts of things, creatures we don't usually see in Dragon Hollow come out, and just in the evening. They're not very scary.
Right.
We make sure that Haunted Hollow is for kids 12 and under, so you can bring the whole family to Haunted Hollow. It's a lot of fun. There's a witch's hovel where you get a cookie and some juice, a spooky carousel ride, and then you get led on a flashlight tour through Haunted Hollow, which is pretty fun. This year we have the university players and the Hellgate National Honor Society being our spooks and ghouls, so
Wow.
they should be really good at that. Yeah.
That's great. And you have an official
I have a shirt.
T-shirt.
Yep, I survived Haunted Hollow last year. I intend to survive Haunted Hollow again this year. The T-shirts are glow in the dark.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and it's more impressive that you survived than that all the patrons survived. It's your
In a way,
event.
yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are great. Those are great. So it's open. Give us the hours
Okay,
and the details
it's from
again,
6 to
'cause it went
8,
by fast.
so it's getting a little bit dark,
Just a
so
little
it makes it
dark,
a little bit spookier.
right.
6 to 8, it's $6 if you are 12 and over, $4 for those under 12. We're being sponsored this year by Noons. We really appreciate that.
That always helps.
And then some
yeah.
media sponsors, and we've just been so fortunate that the community comes out once again in support of the carousel. We really appreciate that.
How many people show up to this?
We had, I wish I knew for sure the answer to that. I would say the first year we had maybe 1,500.
Wow.
We are having fewer days this year. We kind of stretched it out through the last half of October, the last couple of years, and that's really hard on us.
Sure.
And it's, coming October 15th, you're not quite to Halloween spirit yet anyway. So this year it is the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, and then the 29th and 30th from 6 to 8. Come in the carousel door and then have your cookie and ride, and then we'll lead you through Dragon Hollow.
So
Haunted Hollow.
5 nights. I mean, that
5
that
nights.
does make it more of a special
Yes.
destination event when
And it's a little more fun when there's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So if you spread it out too much, the people are spread out a little bit. So this way it's pretty compact.
And I mean, you've had a nice long season of wonderful weather for the carousel. I
Yeah,
bet that's
it's been great. Yeah.
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 And then after Halloween, I'm just curious, and we have a little time. So then, does the carousel transition into different hours or anything going into the winter?
September through May, it's 11 to 5:30. So right now we are at 11 to 5:30.
Okay.
And we will continue that. The next event we have coming up is our ride-a-thon. It's our second annual ride-a-thon. So last year we gathered a bunch of people from the community and they rode the horses. They had to raise at least $200 before they could get off the horses. And they could do it ahead of time or they could do it that evening.
So you have to stay on your horse
Not really.
until you raise that
Right.
money.
Yeah.
I love the idea. It's great.
So we're looking for riders. If anyone would like to come and ride in the ride-a-thon, it's really a lot of fun. We have pizza, we have prizes. It's just really a fun evening.
And when is that coming up?
It is November 19th.
Oh,
And they
that
could
is
call the
coming up.
carousel and
Great.
let me know that they'd like to do that, and I'd love to have volunteers.
Well, it's
Way
not too
fun.
early to start
That's
calling
right.
for that.
Yeah.
So good. I'm glad you mentioned it. And we'll probably have you back on to
I hope
to
so,
talk
yeah.
about that next month. So let's just reiterate one more time. Are the dates and everything on the website,
They are.
Teresa, for
Yes.
the Halloween?
But I'll tell you one more time,
Okay.
Haunted Hollow, the 23rd through the 25th, the 29th and 30th, from 6 to 8 each night. $6 for 12 and over, $4 for under 12. Great place for the whole family. It's not too scary for the little ones. And it's just scary enough for those that are a little bit older.
Oh, well, it sounds like fun, and it's a great thing to do. There's the website right there. So go check out the Haunted Hollow with the kids.
And get a t-shirt.
And you could buy the t-shirts?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. And it all supports the carousel.
Correct.
And Dragon
Yes.
Hollow.
Yes.
Great.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Teresa.
Thank you, Theresa.
Thanks.
Okay.
Great. Well, we've got Joseph Martinez up next. He's the artistic director for MCT, Missoula Community Theater, and he's going to be talking about Jekyll and Hyde. So
More Halloween coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jessica. Have you moved in the past year or are you curious to check out your voter information? Well, now you can. My Voter page is the Secretary of State's voter access portal where you can check out your voter information. Go to MissoulaVotes.com. There you can see the My Voter page portal. Here you'll see that I am an active voter. If you have a different voter status, there'll be information on how to contact the elections office to make you an active voter. If you've been identified as an absentee voter, you'll see this important notice at the top of the screen. After you turn in your absentee ballot, you'll be able to track your ballot as it goes back to the elections office. If you're not an absentee voter, you'll be able to see the location of your polling place as well as a map and how to get directions. When ballots become available, you'll be able to view a sample ballot for your precinct. Be sure to check out your My Voter page to make sure that all the information is correct. If you find any incorrect information, be sure to contact the Missoula County Elections Office before Election Day.
All right, we're back, and we have with us now Joseph Martinez, who is the artistic director of Missoula Community Theater and the director of the upcoming show, Jekyll and Hyde the Musical. Did I get that all right?
You got it all right. That's a lot, right?
Jekyll and Hyde the Musical is a show I don't know. Tell us about it.
Well, you know, it was written in the late 80s. Frank Wildhorn is the composer, and it's a rock musical. It's it's taken the story of Jekyll and Hyde and added rock and roll music to it, and and then of course I've followed the story with the dual personality and everything. But it's an interesting show in that it's very popular. It's been very popular since the 80s. But every time they do it, he puts new music into it. He's a composer that's still alive, and so every time it just played on Broadway about a year ago after maybe a 5 or 6 year hiatus, and every time he does it, he's like, I'm going to add this music and I'm going to take this out, and so it's an exciting show that way because if you have the soundtrack, which a lot of people do from the 1980s, it's there's maybe 1 or 2 songs on there that might be familiar, but everything else is kind of updated to kind of fit the time period that we're in now. So musically,
and that's unusual, isn't
yeah,
it?
it really is. It really is.
When you go to see Oklahoma, you know what you're getting.
Exactly. You see Oklahoma. We have people call and say, "What song does Lucy sing? Is it Bring on the Men or is it Good and Evil?" And the fact that people actually know that is interesting to me. Yeah, and I could always say it's Bring on the Men for those of you that are wondering. But yeah, so it is. It's kind of fun that way because if you've seen it, it was a national tour recently. I think it was in Spokane. So if you saw the show in Spokane, it's a little different than what you saw on the national tour. So yeah.
And you must be in rehearsals now. Can you tell us, when does the show open?
We open October 31st, Halloween, perfect time to open.
Yeah.
A scary musical. And it runs through November 9th. So there are 13 performances. Weekends are matinees on Saturday and Sunday, as well as evening shows. So, and then for tickets, just call MCT Center for the Performing Arts, which is 728-7529 or 728-PLAY, or the website is mctinc.org.
Okay.
So what kind of musicians do you have for this?
We have a 6-piece rock band. David Cody, who is a professor over at the University of Montana in the music department, is our music director. When I decided that I wanted to do this show, I was like, David, I really need the show to rock. And so he put together a great, we have electric guitar, electric bass, electric violin, 2 keyboards, the drums, and an electric cello. So yeah, we'll just give, it's the juxtapose, I guess is the word I'm looking for, of a show set in 1888 with, a lot of screaming guitar and heavy bass lines and stuff. Yeah, so it's exciting.
Yeah, and that's popular in modern, in shows that are on TV right now.
Exactly. And it's a trend, too, that's also happening not only in television, but in theater in general. So many of the musicals now, there was just a show that was based on Green Day music. And, so that's out there now. And again, it's an opportunity for us to invite new audience members to the show, because, we're going to do it in Oklahoma, we're going to do things like that, but we also have to remember that we need to get new audience members, and so something like Jekyll and Hyde, I think, is going to bring people.
Broaden the concept of what musical theater
Exactly,
can be.
yeah.
And of course, there's so many great actors and actresses in Missoula and in the general area that you've presented over the years. Who are some of the people we can look forward to seeing?
It's great because it's a lot of new people, or people that you've seen in the background in the ensemble before. A young lady by the name of Neela Getz, who was a University of Montana student, opera student, who spent some time in Europe pursuing opera and did some opera over there. Just came back, and she is playing Lily, which is our lead female. And then a gentleman by the name of Tim Schonkweiler. He grew up here in Hamilton and owns a business, and he is playing Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And then I have a cast of about 24, a lot of college students, and then a handful of, just community members. That's what I love about MCT and the community theaters. We have the doctors and we have the lawyers, and and it's just such a great mix of people who are so passionate about wanting to do theater, but can only do it, for 6 weeks out of the year because that's kind of what their schedule allows. So.
Right, and they're interacting with real professional, people like your lead actress who's been touring Europe.
Exactly.
And so it's a great mix.
Yeah, it really is. So I'm very excited about the cast. Something I better throw out there just before we're done, just so I can remember to say it, is again, you have to remember that's a community theater show, and we probably have a PG-13 rating on this.
Right.
Yeah, PG-13 rating, and again, it's nothing that you're not going to see on television, but live theater is, I always think, a little different because you can't turn the channel if you bring a child. You can't turn the channel. You can't do something, and as I was saying, and you can't really tell a story of Dr. Jekyll without violence.
A
I mean,
little
he's a violent man, and our lead lady is, for lack of a better term, a lady of the evening, and so there's some sensuality to it as well. So just want to remind people before they say, oh, we're going to take our kids because it's a great Valentine's, it's a great Halloween show. Just maybe do a little research on it and just make sure it's something that you want them to see.
But like you said, nothing you probably wouldn't come across on television. Older kids are
Exactly.
probably
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's nothing worse than you're going to see on any Monday or Tuesday night. So. Yeah.
And for community members who haven't been to the theater, and I can't imagine that people have missed it, but it's a wonderful performance space. It's very intimate. You want to explain where it is?
Yeah, we're just down on the end of East Broadway. It's the MCT Center for the Performing Arts. You can't miss it. It's on the south side of the road on East Broadway. And yeah, we seat about 320. And like you said, it's very intimate. We have a very intimate balcony. So, you're never further than probably 60 feet away from the front of the stage.
Sound is great.
The sound is great, and again, it's just for something like this too, because like I was saying, it's so right in your face, this musical, and then again, because it's got that rock and roll aspect as well. So it's going to feel like you're right there. And that's what I've been telling the actors is you got to remember that the audience becomes part of this just because it is so presentational at times, and they don't go, the cast doesn't go into the audience, but they literally go right to the front of the stage where there's, they're closer than you and I right now.
All right then. So October 31st through November 9th.
Yes.
13 performances.
13 performances.
Missoula Community Theater, Dr. Jekyll and Hyde the musical, and you can get tickets at the box office. You can call. You can go online.
Yep.
There's the website, and it's mctinc.org.
Yes.
For tickets. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see it.
Yes, I'm excited.
It sounds like fun. All right. We will be back in just a few minutes, and we'll have the next guest. I'm not sure who it is. Shall we surprise people? Oh, it's a good friend. All right. We'll see you back here in a minute.
Hello and welcome to MCAT. MCAT stands for Missoula Community Access Television. We are a nonprofit group that helps the community get into broadcasting and communication. How? I'm not sure. If it's too formal, people are just gonna be like, oh, that's boring. And then if it's too like, oh yeah, we don't give a crap, la-di-da. Are you filming this? Yeah. Oops. How? We train anybody who comes through our doors how to shoot, edit, and produce videos. Whether you like to be in front of the camera or behind, we provide the equipment you need to get started, so come on down.
When is it?
It's November 1st, 2nd.
All right,
Sunday.
we're back. Great. We're here with writer and producer Claude Alick and director Mark Nordhagen, and they're going to be talking about their play, Cowardice of the Eyes, which will be showing in Crystal. Hi guys, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. So tell us first of all, what's this play about?
It is about the politics, economics, and religion of Haiti. It's a kind of a magical realism, kind of voodoo elements in it.
Very cool.
And you've been working on this piece for some time, haven't you, Claude?
Right. Been working on it for about 4 years. Since about 2010, after that earthquake. Wow.
And how has it changed and evolved over those years?
Well, it has changed tremendously. It was a huge, bulky thing, and I had 2 friends of mine read it for me. And this is no, cut this, cut that.
That's what friends are for.
Right. And it's a nice, tight little piece right now. Yeah, Mark is directing it,
Yeah, talk a little bit about how you two got together to do this particular production of the play.
Well, Claude contacted me, knew I'd done some theater work and stuff, and I read the script and immediately thought, yeah, this is something I would love to do. So I like the darker elements of the spirituality of voodoo, I find fascinating. and I felt I could bring something to it. I could bring myself to it. I could see myself in some of the story.
So is it a full length, 90 minutes, 60 minutes?
It's about, I think it's right around 60, 70 minutes.
Okay.
But it'll vary because it's kind of it's a fairly big cast. We have 7
Yeah,
people
that's what I was
in
going
the
to ask.
cast.
7 people, wow.
Right, so it's kind of bulky.
And so you're in rehearsals right now. You're working it up. And what are the production dates again?
The 1st, the 2nd, the 7th, and the 8th of November.
Great.
And it's kind of a mixed media production. So you'll have stage elements and film elements
Oh, that's interesting.
happening simultaneously.
Very cool. Very cool. And how did you get the idea to make it a mixed media play?
I think it just, the story really lends itself to that. And that's kind of how my mind works. I like spectacle. I like trying something different. We were just saying earlier today that this is an experimental piece.
We were actually forced into the experimentation because we live in a community where there's not a lot of black people.
This is true.
And the characters. I mean, there's Toussaint Louverture and Aristide and Papa Doc and those
So
are all
historical figures.
historical, right?
Haiti.
But Marcus, he's fitted in nicely. It's
And what is
fun.
it? What's it like to as the writer of the piece to see it being personified and produced out there?
It's interesting. It's very interesting. You put words down, and you never know what's going to happen when you see people doing it, and you says, maybe I should have had an extra line there. An extra line there.
Are you still making changes?
Oh yeah, there's little things here and there. You can
Sure.
always. Once it's on stage, it's on stage. But for now.
But that's the great thing about theater. It can change every night if you wanted to, right? So how did you cast the production?
Very carefully. No. We just kind of sent out through different venues. The university, social media, the children's theater. Wasn't that one of them?
Right. They did a blast and sent it out to all of their people.
Great.
So we kind of just picked people up here and there, and some of them just fit right in to what we wanted. So,
Claude, as a writer, could I ask, how is it different from writing a book for writing a play?
That's a good question.
Well, you have to come up with a lot of a storyline that holds itself together. You can't have a lot of narrative. There's no narrative. Therefore, all of the dialogue has to carry the story. In this case, the woman she goes to the temple of Widi between the living and the dead, and she's interviewing various characters. So it's a give and take back and forth. It's very wordy.
Is it harder?
No, not if you write dialogue. You know how to make it flow from one character to another, and how they speak to each other, what they say, and you make sure that the storyline is carried by the dialogue of the characters.
Although I've always thought the challenge is kind of that whatever is going on inside their head, you have to be able to convey
Break it
just
out.
through their physical movement and their dialogue. I mean, you can't tell people what she was thinking.
Right.
And
And
that's always the challenge.
the actors pick that up.
Yeah.
The actors read the thing and they says, well, I'll do it this way, and they bring out those parts.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see this. So we've got the title on the screen again. It's going to be at the Crystal Theater at 515 North Higgins. The dates again and how people can get tickets. Can you tell us about that?
The dates are November 1st, 2nd, 7th, and 8th. That's 2 weekends.
So Friday, Saturday.
Right. Saturday, Sunday of the first week.
Okay.
Friday and Saturday of the second week.
Perfect.
And the tickets are available online at brownticket.com and at the door.
Okay, great. So you can get them at the door or at brownticket.com?
Brownticket.com.
All right. And again, the name of the play is?
Cowardice of Eyes.
Cowardice of Eyes. It's a great title. Good. Well, good luck with it. It sounds exciting, and I can't wait to see it. Neil and I will be there.
Yeah.
And, and thanks for coming and telling us a little bit about it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thanks. We'll be back with Meredith Prinz, who she's from Missoula Community Foundation, and we'll have her on next.
Hi, I'm Jessica. Did you know that you can vote before Election Day in Montana? That's right. Come down to the fairgrounds and you can register to vote, pick up a ballot, and even receive an I voted sticker. Here's how it works. You can take the bus, ride your bike, or even walk your dog over to the election center at the fairgrounds. It takes only 5 minutes to get your voter registration and even receive your ballot. It's so easy. If you have a hectic schedule, you can check out MissoulaVotes.com for our extended hours after 5 p.m. and also our Saturday schedule. Can't make it before Election Day? No worries, Montana has same-day voter registration available. Come down to the Election Center at the fairgrounds on Tuesday, November 4th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. to fill out some paperwork and get your ballot. Make sure you're in line by 8 p.m. Avoid the lines. Register to vote early.
All right, and we're here now with Meredith Prinz, who is with Willapalooza, helping Missoulians get started with estate planning. Meredith, I think we need to really have you explain, what is Willapalooza?
Yeah, well, it's basically, we know that making a will can be a really hard thing to do. It's just something that we don't want to think about. And so we're having this event to help people get started. We're going to have some attorneys, some estate planning experts there that are going to be able to answer your questions, but we're going to start with some presentations. Kind of where we, Missoula Community Foundation, comes at it is that we are trying to help people, to inspire people to leave a legacy for their community and their favorite nonprofits, and you can't leave a legacy if you don't have a will. And 70% of Montanans actually don't have a will, so that means that 70% can't possibly leave a legacy.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is an offshoot of the Leave a Legacy program that the Community Foundation was behind for quite a few years.
I would say it's a companion effort.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of people may have been familiar with that. There was great information that you put out every year trying to, as you said, get people to think about how you don't have to be a billionaire philanthropist to make a real mark in your community. It's very possible that all of us can, with whatever, we have, if we plan ahead, make a huge difference to the nonprofits in our community. And in Missoula, a community that has so many nonprofits, it's more essential than ever to do that.
Absolutely.
So Willapalooza is an actual event, which is kind of a new thing, right?
Yeah.
And the date, what is the date?
It's coming up on Wednesday, this
Oh my
Wednesday.
Goodness. Okay, so I hope you're
Yeah.
not watching on Friday and you missed it.
Yeah, it's from 5 to 7 at the MCT Center for the Performing Arts. And at 5 o'clock, we're going to start with some presentations. We're going to try to inspire people with one of our board members, Dale Woolheiser, who's a really great community supporter. He's going to talk about his giving story and kind of why he's leaving a legacy. Then we're going to have an estate planning attorney give some basics. And then we're also going to have people can then have their questions answered one-on-one with attorneys. And,
so it'll break up more and more time for detailed conversation.
Right, we'll have little tables set up, so after the presentations, people can go and meet with an attorney, and if for some reason you're not able to talk with an attorney on the night, we'll just get your information and someone will follow up with you.
So how does one create a will? I don't know anything about that, because I haven't thought about it yet in my life.
Because you're so young.
Yeah, well, good question. you can decide to work with an attorney. That's probably the safest bet, is that they will help you, take you through everything you need to do. But first you just need to kind of think about it and think about, what would you like to happen with your assets, whatever they may be, when you pass along. If you've got kids, just God forbid something happens to you, what's going to happen to your kids. So just kind of get your thoughts in order. Come to Willapalooza, get some information. We're gonna have a resource guide there. MSU Extension has put together some really great. They're called Mont guides, and they're little PDFs. And so there's one on wills, and it says all the information you need to know about wills. And there'll be information about, if you want to leave a bequest to an organization, what that language might look like. Something that you talked about, Kim, about leaving a legacy. One thing we want to point out is that there's this massive transfer of wealth going on in Montana and all over the country, actually. But the Montana Community Foundation has done a study on the transfer of wealth in Montana, and between 2010 and 2020, $12 billion will transfer from one generation to the next.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
In Montana.
In Montana. Wow. And in Missoula County, $1.39 billion will be transferred. So what we would like to do is encourage people to leave 5% of their estate to their favorite nonprofits, to their community. And if people did that, we would have $69 million in endowment. And if we were able to give away 5% of that every year, that would be about $3.5 million a year. So if we can just think about the potential and just make that will.
That is the amazing thing. I think there are two issues going on. One is that we all mean to address this stuff someday.
Right.
Someday I'm going to sit down with my husband and we're going to make a will. But Americans have such conflicting attitudes about death and planning and thinking about it that we often put it off. Mm-hmm. And making this kind of a festive atmosphere, I think, is a really smart idea, so that it makes it less intimidating if you grab, some friends and say, let's just go check this out and do it. Let's get started. But the other thing is, I think we all think that unless we have personally millions of dollars, we're not making a difference. And those statistics are so amazing that if everyone gave 5%, the wealth that could be shared within the nonprofit world and the good that could do.
Yeah. And many of us really like to give to nonprofits all throughout our lives. And if we can think about, well, gosh, those nonprofits are really going to miss us when we're gone if we're not giving anymore. So if we can give to them and maybe give to, if they have an endowment, then that means that your gift, you can be part of that organization forever and just keep doing that good forever.
That's the argument that really changed, really struck me. And it was someone made it a few years ago from the Community Foundation was, if X.org, if you give them $200 a year every year, when you're gone, they're missing that $200 unless you make arrangements for it. So I had never thought of it that way. I just assumed that someone else just slipped right into my place, but that's of course not the case.
Yeah. So this is almost something that you have to do if you really care about a nonprofit.
You do, and really, and like I said, the Community Foundation comes at it as how can we make our community better and stronger, but really, it's just the right thing to do for your family, for your loved ones. At that time of grief, when they're grieving, you don't want them to have to try to figure out, well, what is who gets grandma's pie plate? Let's just take care of all of that, get it out of the way, and also do some good for your community.
Absolutely.
Now, do I see that you might still be looking for a few volunteers for Willapalooza?
Yeah, if anybody has an hour or two, we could use some help with just some basic help checking people in or serving food, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And once again, this is going to happen at the MCT Center for the Performing Arts on Wednesday, October 22nd, from 5 to 7. Is it free?
It is free.
So this is the way to jumpstart this whole process for yourself and get your friends down there. And this is being put on by the Missoula Community Foundation, correct?
Yep.
Well, thanks for leading us all down this path that we all mean to go down, but don't.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, Meredith, we'll see you there on Wednesday. And when we come back, I think
We're going to talk a little bit about MCAT music and the morning show, Wake Up Missoula. So we'll talk about that when we come back.
Hi, I'm Jessica. National Voter Registration Day is on September 23rd. The Missoula County Elections Office will be hosting an event at the University of Montana. From 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., come get registered to vote, look up your voting information, practice voting, and get an I'm Registered to Vote sticker. Millions of people will vote this year. Will you? Register to vote on National Voter Registration Day.
Hey, we're back. So first off, let's talk about MCAT music. You know what? MCAT music is a little thing that Sam and Scott, two of our MCAT employees, are really starting to do. They have bands come to Sam's house and they play in his living room, and they're called living room sessions.
they're really cool.
Yeah.
I love this.
So why don't we let them play a little bit of that, and you can actually put the audio in and we can hear some of it.
And I don't want a friend, but down in landscape, terrified, going into the
Oh, okay, so we're getting some feedback there, but that was a little performance by Three-Eared Dog, and I believe they also had a performance by the Little Smokies, and yeah, it's just really incredible music. They get these bands. Sam somehow manages to get these bands to come to his house and play.
I think it's fabulous. So if there's a band out there watching right now and they wanted to take advantage of this, because it's got to be valuable for the bands themselves when they're promoting.
Absolutely.
How would they go about getting in touch with you guys?
Yeah, you could call MCAT at 542-6228, 406-542-6228, otherwise 542-MCAT. You could email us at mcat@mcat.org. And then also you can get a hold of Sam Tolman at stolman@mcat.org. Again, that's STOLMAN at mcat.org, because Sam's really the guy who spearheads all of this, and Scott's the technical guru behind it. And yeah.
And Sam, how big is your living room? Huge. It's massive.
Huge. Great acoustics too. Great acoustics.
That sounded so good, and it's fun to watch. I think this is a great idea for a new show. So I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah, me too. And I guess we'll also talk a little bit about Wake Up Missoula, the morning show. So we've got a morning show. I can probably talk a little bit about this because I'm on it.
It's your baby.
Yeah, it's Scott and Noelle and my baby. And so we've got the other hosts besides me is Scott Ramf, and then we've got Noelle McAvoy, and basically it's like a morning talk show where we're like video jockeys. So we've got headphones on and we've got cool microphones like DJs do, and instead of spinning records, we play some clips from different events going on around town, music going on around town. We've got Scott takes care of all the MCAT programming. Here's a little clip from our show, and Scott's real sassy. He's really funny on the show, as you can tell. But So yeah, that's.
And you do some live interviews and things as well. I know you had someone from the book festival on last week, which was great.
Yeah.
So I think if community groups, as with this show, if you've got something going on and you want to be on the morning show, they can probably give a call and see if there's space available.
Yeah,
right?
again, you can call us at 542-6228. There, we've got the website up. You can check us out on MCAT's website, and just Google Missoula Community Access Television. And there's our little Wake Up Missoula page on Facebook, and we're also on Twitter. So if you want to get a hold of us, you can call MCAT or email MCAT, or I think we have a Wake Up Missoula email address. It's what is it, Scott? It's Wake Up. It's WMMCAT@gmail.com, so that you can get a hold of us there. But really, we want more interaction on social media. So probably the best way to get a hold of us and the best way to get your voice heard is go onto our Facebook page and say, hey, what's up? You can message us on Facebook, and you can also, voice your opinion. Sometimes we pose questions during the show, and we say, hey, how about, what's your opinion? What's your thoughts on this issue? And we'd love to have social media interaction. So.
That's a great thing, because then, it's not just going one way. People can be heard. And how many mornings a week are you on?
We're on 3 mornings a week. We air from 8 to 9 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
All right.
It's live.
So you're not like the big network, Good Morning America, where you have to get up at 4 in the morning yet, right?
Yeah. Well, I actually get up sometimes at 4 in the morning to do the city. I'm the city council reporter, so
that's right.
I do a lot of. So sometimes I won't have a chance to do it that night. But here's a little clip from.
Good.
From our author.
There's Craig. Yeah.
And. But yeah, sometimes I wake up at 4 a.m. to do research for city council, and get clips.
So, and that's another part of the show, right? Is it that it's kind of a really great, super local update on what's going on with city government.
Yeah, hyper local. That's what we like to call it.
That is so cool, because as things seem to get more and more and more, decentralized and out there, this is our home. This is our community. And you guys are on top of it all. That's great.
Yeah, thank you, Kim. Yeah. So, that's about all that I have to talk about Wake Up Missoula.
So tune in to Wake Up Missoula, which is what, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 a.m. So tune in, and then also if you miss it, you can check it out. We always post it we post the video on our Facebook page and Twitter page.
Yeah, I usually watch it from the website.
Cool. Yeah, and it's screening on MCAT. If you don't have cable, if you don't have charter cable, you can go onto MCAT.com and you can watch it streaming live. So yeah, there's our website, and Scott in the control room is actually showing you how you stream.
How easy it is.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say thank you. This is something that maybe people in the community don't think about as often as they could, but most of the events going on in Missoula, you will see a camera and a camera person behind it, and that's MCAT filming your event. And for instance, almost everything that was going on at the book festival last weekend was filmed by MCAT. I had so many people come up to me that night of the gala reading, Saturday night, saying, is this going to be on? Or the next day, who said, I missed it.
Yeah.
Is it going to be on TV? And all I did was call up the station and talk to Joel, and he said, well, of course it is, but we'll rush it just to get it up there right away. So you can watch events from actually 15 years of book festivals, but of, a huge number of events that go on in Missoula, cultural things, are available to stream on MCAT. So check it out. It's an amazing resource.
And we post a lot of our videos on YouTube now too. So like someone who lives in another state, if someone here tells them about, hey, we had this great author talking about some subject that this person's really interested in, they can watch it in Georgia or wherever.
Yeah.
Because I had a person ask me specifically, they were like, I have a friend in Georgia who wants to watch this, and I was like, well, you can stream it online, and it might be on our YouTube channel too. So.
Exactly. Well, I think we've run out of time. We survived without Joel.
It's been a great honor being on the show, Kim, and
It's fine.
yeah, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for saving me.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Who knows who'll be sitting here? But I'll be here.